What's up guys, and in this video we are going to be recapping Apple's October 22nd event. So Apple opened this event with their typical Apple fashion, releasing details in terms of iOS 7 updates and sales on the new iPhone 5S. Within the first weekend of the sales of the iPhone 5S and 5C, Apple sold more than 9 million copies, meaning that this was the fastest selling iPhone yet. In terms of iOS 7 updates, more than 65% of iOS users are running iOS 7 to this day. Also going back to iOS 7 updates, there are more than 2 million people listening to iTunes Radio versus things such as Pandora and I guess Spotify's a thing. I don't know, but yeah. Not a big Spotify user. So next, Apple jumped into their OS X updates regarding their MacBook Pros and the Mac Pro. So back in June, Apple released details that they will be releasing a complete redesign to their Mac Pro. A lot of people called it the little trash can, or references to Star Wars' R2-D2. So more details regarding this Mac Pro were released today regarding, the specs. We're not going to go too big on the specs. Thunderbolt 2.0 has 12 gigs of RAM standard, 3.7 gigahertz at the baseline model, and this will be shipping with OS X Mavericks, as well as the price, which a lot of people were speculating. They were wondering, is it going to be $4,000, $3,000, $350, $350? So the actual price for this is actually going to be $3,000 at the baseline model. Sure, you can add all your upgrades, max out your RAM. Overall, this is going to be a very solid update to the Mac Pro. A lot of people have been wanting a complete redesign for this, and I think that they're going to be very happy with it. Also, just a quick note, I wanted to say that on the new Mac Pro, it supports 3 4K monitors and can edit 4K video like a breeze. Essentially how the 2012 MacBook Pros can edit 1080p video. This is just awesome for filmmakers in general. No more proxies for filmmaking, especially for shooting with things like the Red Epic or other cameras that shoot that much. Alright, so next they jumped on into the MacBook Pro line. Retina displays are now standard on MacBook Pros, as well as there is no optical drive anymore for those of you who need it, so you're going to be spending $80 more to Apple if you want an optical drive. So the baseline MacBook Pro with Retina display will be, of course, the 13-inch model, selling for $1,399, which is around the price of the old baseline MacBook Pro. I have really no complaints with the pricing on it. I actually think that the price is good in terms of Retina displays, considering how expensive they were, and the crazy price for last year's, that was, no. Also updates, there are some new graphics chips inside of it. One of the big things that they're talking about in this new Mac line is the new Haswell 4th gen Intel CPUs, which will get you a lot more battery life, especially on your iMacs, MacBook Pros. iMacs don't have battery life. I'm going with it. Alright, so now we were talking software for OS X. OS X Mavericks is available today for free on the Mac App Store, which is awesome considering last year's Mountain Lion update was $20. And making comparisons to Windows 8.1 was free, so that's good on Apple for actually being competitive in terms of prices. More on that later. Alright, a little more on software. We heard more details as in the new updates for the apps. Maps, of course, is one of the big features on OS X Mavericks, as well as updates to all the iLife apps such as GarageBand, iMovie, and iPhoto. So these updates for GarageBand and iPhoto and iMovie are going to be for not only OS X, but iOS as well. So Apple is actually pushing 20 app updates to iOS, updating all their apps such as Remote, Find My Friends, all those apps who have not had full iOS 7 support. We will see that today, hopefully, finally, which is good because I like my Remote app for my Apple TV. Alright, next, Apple jumped into their iPad announcements, which was a lot of people's hype for this. This is what they really wanted to see. We heard things on the new iPad mini, the new iPad, which I'll get to more details in a few seconds. Okay, so first off, they let people know about the market share that the iPad holds. All tablets, out of all of them, iPad holds 81% of that. Out of all tablets in the world, that's crazy if you think about it. 81% of all tablets, Apple. So next they jumped on into the iPad 5th generation update, which is now dubbed the iPad Air. I guess this is going back to the MacBook Air. So the iPad 5th generation has 43% thinner bezels and is 20% thinner than the iPad 4th generation, 3rd generation, and even the 2nd generation, because those had the same cases. And in terms of weight, the new iPad 5th generation is 1 pound, which is cool. Now, processor-wise, this is now shipping with the A7 processor, the same chip that is in the iPhone 5S, with the 64-bit architecture, and is 8 times faster than its previous generation. Alright, so next, moving on to the iPad mini. This was the highlight of the event for me. We saw, as rumored, a Retina display on this iPad mini with a 2048 by 1536 resolution, which is a higher pixel density than on the Nexus 7, as well as the iPad 5th generation. The iPad 5th generation has the same 2048 by 1536 resolution. However, that is on a 9.7-inch screen, and the iPad mini is, of course, smaller, so it's 7.9 inches. So we get roughly the same specs as we do on the iPad 5th generation as we do on the iPad mini. So it gets a huge bump from the A5 processor all the way up to now the A7 processor with the 64-bit architecture, 8 times faster than regular. Overall, this is going to be a speedy device, and now on to prices. Alright, in terms of prices for these new iPads, the 5th generation will remain at $500 for the 16GB model. The iPad mini 1st generation will sell for 16 gigs at $300. Now here's the weird part. Apple is selling the iPad mini with Retina display for $400, which is pretty weird considering the Nexus 7, Google's flagship 7-inch tablet, will be half the price at $200. So Apple, good on you. So that has been a quick wrap-up of this iPad event. It wasn't just iPads, but we also saw things like the Mac Pro, the MacBook Pros, all that happy jazz. Keep in mind that this was a brief overview of what actually happened. So click the link in the description down below if you want to go check in more details on the new iPads, the new Mac Pro. All that will be in the description down below. Thanks to Bryson Hill for holding the boom mic and filming this. And yeah, we're GoGo Gadget Reviews. Catch you later.